next we have Joe Dooley, covering development workflow for agencies. Over to you, Joe.
All right. Hey guys.
Oh. Joe, can you hear me? I've hidden you. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Because I could see myself, so I clicked that one. Okay, I'm really sorry about this, folks. I now hide myself. And over to Joe.
Hi guys. My name's Joe Dooley. I am the lead developer for the Crush agency. We're a full-service marketing agency, and we specialize in custom WordPress development, SEO, SEM, but mainly we're a Genesis framework development agency. All of our sites are done in Genesis. So let's see. Today I'd like to talk about a development workflow that has enabled us to double the output of the amount of websites we're able to do each month. We have a smaller agency. There's only 2 developers, myself and Allison. And before moving to Pantheon, specifically Pantheon 1 for agencies, we were only able to do 2 websites per month. Since moving to Pantheon, we have actually doubled the output. So we're able to do essentially 4 websites per month, and we're not even really crunched for time. So I highly encourage everyone to go to Pantheon and create an agency account. It's free, like I was saying, and you could even follow along here if you like. But I'm going to post a URL here in the show notes, the show chat. If you click on that link, you'll be good to go. Just by the way, I don't work for Pantheon. Pantheon doesn't have an affiliate program or anything like that. So this is just me going out of my way to discuss Pantheon because it's literally helped our agency so much. I know it could actually help you guys too. So the way Pantheon works is it's going to be essentially cloud-based development. So if you spin up a new site on Pantheon, which I'm just going to walk you through the process here. That'll probably be the best way to do this. And if you guys have questions throughout this, feel free to just shoot them through the Google Hangout here, and I'll try to address them as well. All right, so this is your agency dashboard. As I said, it's free. Go create it on Pantheon right now. It'll really change your life. Your developers will like you. If you own an agency, they'll look forward to coming to work. Your clients, they'll absolutely love you because now you could show clients the changes that you've done on your website or for the new feature branch that you've created on a test URL or a staging server. Whereas before, you're kind of cowboy coding, you're developing on the live server, they're not too happy with what you produced. So, there's really no chance to go back at that point, at least easily. But with Pantheon, all that's taken care of. So once you have an account created, you'll see this. It will look exactly the same, except you'll be missing a logo, and you probably won't have as many sites here. So let's just create a site. So once I hit create a site, I have 2 options. So this is just naming the site. And then let's just set it up with the Crush agency create site. So what I'm doing here is I'm just actually creating the the instance of the site essentially. So I could two choices here. I could start from scratch, which is just going to be a plain WordPress install, and it's a little different. It's actually Pantheon's version of WordPress, but you would never even know the difference if I didn't tell you that. And just a couple things are changed to help for Pantheon's caching and things like that. So let's see here. All right. So I actually have three options, and I'm going to show you this option because this is what I wrote in the description, and that's going to be creating a site from a common code base. So Pantheon, they enable you to actually, let's say, like I said, we're a Genesis development agency, so 90% of the sites that we produce, I would say 70% of the code is identical. I use the same plugins on every site. I'm going to use Gravity Forms on every site. I use Genesis Simple Hooks on every site. As far as a starter theme, I usually use Genesis Sample, a modified Genesis Sample, unless I'm in a time crunch. So with that said, I mean, it made sense for us to create this common code base because I'm able to spin up a site in less than 2 minutes, and it already has Gravity Forms set up. I already have my license key activated because I added code into the WP config file. Basically, everything's all taken care of. And the cool thing is, when WordPress gets updates, or I don't want to say Gravity Forms because they had the update in the background, but let's say there's an update to another plugin that I'm using on all the sites, Genesis Simple Hooks. So all I would have to do is update my GitHub repository, and to do that, just basic stuff here. I'll go through it from the get-go. So here's my upstream right here. So this is what I install on all of our client sites. So let's go ahead and clone this. So I'm going to do it on my desktop because I don't want to have a duplicate here. So right now I'm actually just cloning down my repository here for Pantheon, for my custom upstream, they call it. And I'm just giving you a quick example how I'm able to make a quick update. For instance, let's see, so this is C Word LS. So I'm actually just going to make a quick style change. I'm just going to change the background to something visual so you guys can see this, the process and how it works. And let me show you the site that this is set up on through a test here at Pantheon. So upstream test. All right, so here's just a basic Genesis sample install, and this is with my common code base here that I use on all the sites. So show you the back end, show you the So as you can see, I mean, this install, it's not your standard WordPress install. There's I have 12 plugins here that I used throughout development. Gravity Deal, I was testing that out, which is really cool, by the way. You guys should definitely go out and get that. It'll save you a lot of time and money. what I'm doing here is I had to take my website out of Git mode and put it into SFTP mode, because once you're in Git mode, which I'll go into in a little bit here, you're not able to make any essentially updates to your website, to the code, or to the database. Well, not to the database, but to your code. Pantheon locks you out. It's a restriction in a way. So I have to flip the switch over to SFTP, and once I do that, I'm able to now update these plugins. And once again, the purpose of me showing you this here is because I want to update these plugins, and then I'm actually going to push this code to all of the sites that are connected to this custom upstream here, which in the end, it's going to save me from logging into 5 or 6 different sites and then updating Gravity Forms and custom post type UI on all those sites separately. Whereas I'm able on Pantheon to just update this upstream and then push that out to all the sites that are connected to it, essentially with Pantheon's continuous integration. And I might as well update this as well. Now, once that's updated, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a commit message. So, updated and that's not spelled right. Okay. So this is kind of cool. What just happened here? You're probably thinking, so why am I writing a commit message through this Pantheon dashboard? So Pantheon's going to track all of your changes for you when you're in SFTP mode, all of your code changes. So whether it's the smallest detail, I change a font size on the body from 16 to 18 pixels, or I update 3 plugins, whenever there's a code change, it shows up right here, and it actually shows you. Basically pulls a git diff here, and it shows you all the code changes, just as if this was a command line. So right there in itself, it's a huge time saver. So now that that's done, I'm on the dev server now. So I'm going to go ahead and push my code up to test, which I don't even have a test server. So let's do that real quick. Pantheon has an amazing tool called Terminus, which is a command line utility. And essentially, Terminus, it is a wrapper, I guess, for Drush and WP CLI. Why Drush? Because Pantheon, it's managed hosting for Drupal and WordPress. I should say managed enterprise hosting. At least you get the benefits of managed enterprise hosting. But Terminus, I'm able to move so much faster from the command line, and I'm kind of saving you guys from that because I want you to understand what I'm doing here. But so what I just did there was, when this site is created, I only had a dev environment. So if I wanted to push my code into the test environment, I had to actually create that test environment. I'm going to have to do the same thing now for this live environment because it's not created yet. So Pantheon's great. None of this is confusing. They don't give you 2 different options, and you have to go read documentation to figure out which option you need to hit. So let's just hit clone the testing environment to create the live environment. Now the live environment, just so you know, that's going to be, once we deploy this site and it goes live, the live environment is your example.com or www.example.com. So your test environment, it always stays as test dash the name of your site, upstream test.pantheon.io, and then dev, it's going to be dev dash upstream test.pantheon.io. The difference between dev, test, and live is you're only able to make changes on the dev server in your dev environment. When I say changes, you're only able to change your code, or actually upload media files on the dev server. I shouldn't say media files, sorry. You're only able to change your code on the dev server. So for a live site here, if I was at example.com and I wanted to update 3 plugins, Pantheon's not going to let me do that. It locks me out. I don't have the proper file permissions, and that's a safety precaution. You never want to make code changes on a live environment. So what you have to do is you have to go into your dev server, and you have to update your dev environment. So to do that, let me just get caught up here, show you guys something. Alright, so I just pushed my code all the way up there, and just disregard what I'm doing here. I had this really nice screen share or slide share that I took from someone who made this at Pantheon. I think it's a little bit better though. The slide share just went into Pantheon's launch check, which is basically, I'll show it to you right now. A little status thing. You hit run the checks now, and it checks your database. It's going to actually checks the tables. So if you have like my ISAM or older database tables in there, it actually tells you that you should update these to NODB tables, and there's even a script in the documentation that shows you how to do that. Talks about cron. If there's a problem, let's say I have, let's say I migrated the site in, and before that site was using a caching plugin. So if that was the case, usually that shows up right here because Pantheon ships with its own caching plugin. It's a must-use plugin. You barely know it's there, and you have the option to use Redis as well as a caching backend too, which it's just a plugin install essentially. And doing that, you really notice the difference on like WooCommerce sites in the admin area where it's pretty slow. So anyway, back to where I was here. So now I actually just I updated the plugins, I committed it, and there's my commit code, and then I pushed that all the way to my live server, and now I have to, let's see, I'm going to switch back to Git mode. Once I do that, I'm just going to run a git status to make sure everything's matching up. Of course it will be. Well, I got to do a git, real quick, git pull, sorry. Git pull. I guess I'm actually good here. I guess I am. That's great. So much for that example. Oh, that's because it's the Pantheon one. So git remote -v. I have that and that. Cool. So I need to add Pantheon as a remote here. So the idea of this custom upstream is, it's connected to GitHub, and it's also connected to the Pantheon. So in order for me to connect to the Pantheon, I just have to, let's see, I actually got that. No. By the way, if you ever need to find something in Pantheon, they have this little walk me here, and then, let's see, just going to type in custom upstream. that. I actually know these docs pretty well. All right, cool. So in order for me to add Pantheon here, I'm just going to grab this, copy it, back to my trusty documentation, and then, so right now I just have these two remotes, so I'm connected to GitHub, and you see that right here. To actually, sorry, what Pantheon sites code base to get, I already did that. There we go. There we go. This is my SSH URL for get remote add Pantheon. Pantheon is just the name of the remote branch, and then I'm just gonna SSH. That matches up. Say good, and then repository get, and then we're just gonna call this. What did I do wrong? So I got that URL. That's it. Oh, got it. I guess I'm missing an option here. So get remote add Pantheon. I'm just going to call this the master branch, so I'm going to give it the flag for an M. Again, you don't have to understand, or not again, you don't have to understand this command line stuff to work on Pantheon. You could work completely in SFTP mode, and the only time you'd ever have to come to the command line is if you wanted to revert back to an earlier commit point. So, get remote add Pantheon. What's going on here? Why isn't this working? Oh, that's why. Sorry guys for the hold up here. So here we go. Sorry, the URL was just appended with information here that I didn't need. So now if I do a git remote -v or just hit the up arrow, now you'll see that I have both branches. I have my GitHub branch and I have the Pantheon branch here. So I want to actually, my goal here is to get those 3 plugin updates, that code onto GitHub, because right now it's just on Pantheon. And then also, once that's done, the final objective is to push that code to all the connected sites. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to this documentation here, and I'm just going to remote add, and no, that's already done. So do this, commit, working clean. So I'm going to do a git pull. I think I'm already up to date here. Let's see. Oh, I'm in the GitHub branch. Huh? So git check out and the master. Good old time. Here we go. So git push u origin. Branch master set up to track remote origin. Update, not gonna commit, done. Alright, so now I'm gonna actually push the Pantheon code to GitHub. Pantheon. That's why I'm in the wrong directory. I can't believe it. So this error, guys, it's from creating this in an already tracked site. I already had this set up. CD. This will be very quick. Fast ls get status get remote dash b origin good. And that. So git push. No. Pantheon. Git push. GitHub's great whenever there's a problem. It actually tells you what to do. You may want to first integrate the remote changes and git pull before pushing again. So git pull. You should always do a git pull to update your local repository. Status, so good. So now I'm going to try that again. So git push. To get branch master, set up the track, remote changes. Cool. So now if we go to GitHub, sorry for this tedious process, guys. 76 commits. So my commit from, Jesus, 22 minutes ago already just showed up in there. So the end of this lesson here is to, now I want to show you all the sites that are connected to this upstream URL. So in order to do that, I could actually just filter here all my sites, and these are all the sites that are connected to this custom upstream that we call crush here. And then let's go over to, let's see, here's just a starter site so far. So I'm just going to commit these changes here. So but once this is done committing here the code, what I want to show you is so this site right here, this PMA ranking, so this is connected to that custom upstream. So here's the commit that I just made on my Pantheon test site for the custom upstream, and that was the updated Gravity Forms, CBT UI, and Kismet. So in order to actually integrate this with this website here, I just have to change it to Git mode. And then I'm just going to apply updates. And I shouldn't have any conflicts, but with my luck today, I probably will. And this is just applying the upstream updates that we just made. So this is definitely an advanced workflow for Pantheon. As you can see, I just started using it a couple months ago. All in all, I've been with Pantheon though for going on 7 months now. Best thing ever for our agency. So here's the changes from earlier, showing the workflow that we just did there. So back to the original thing here. So let's just spin up this site like we were going through earlier, and let's install it from the Crush upstream here. So we're able to do those quick updates there. And while I'm doing that, I guess I should take some questions. So I just posted a message there in the chat room saying if you guys have any questions or if you want me to show you anything in particular, just let me know. I'd be happy to do that. Hey.
Joe, Dave has asked, if you update a plugin on a custom upstream, where on all the other connected sites does it update the said plugin? Dev, test, or live?
Okay, so Dave, we're always going to be, it always updates your dev environment. So your code will not get to your live server unless you actually push it to, the test and then the live. So here I just updated that. Let me go back to that site here. So this was, okay. So I just merged my upstream with one of the connected sites here. So now if I want to push this code into the live server, I would just go to test, and then I would clone the environment from there to there. And then I would do that once again for the live environment. And then once it goes to live, then it's going to be on the actual live site, example.com or pmaranking.com. So hope that answered your question.
Okay, and Kathy has asked, how much percentage-wise time does Pantheon save you every day?
Kathy, I swear Pantheon has, I've been able to double my output when it comes to websites. So before we were doing 2 websites per month, now we're doing 4. This upstream, that's a huge thing, a huge time saver. One of the big things that helps us out a lot is, we're not always doing new sites, but, we a lot of times take on sites. And, let's say the site's, it's a regular old WordPress site, there's no child theme, and it's hosted on GoDaddy or HostGator. And it's one of their very slow accounts, like a shared server. So obviously we're going to do what we can to get that site going fast. Page time, page loads going quickly. So one of the first things we do is we migrate them over to Pantheon, which is, it's great for the client's SEO. When it comes to Google, they want relevant content in the fastest time. So moving sites over to Pantheon, I've had in the past WooCommerce sites that I inherited that loaded at 10 seconds. Moving them over to Pantheon, knocked that down to about 3 seconds. And it's just because of their varnished caching. It's quite the system. MariaDB, it's completely managed WordPress hosting. They do a good job.
Okay, Patricia has asked, can you use this instead of managed WP or infinite WP and so on for maintenance and backup?
Correct. So that's actually the whole idea here. This, by the way, the site that I spun up there, it's just created. So it loads in the dashboard. And then I hit visit development site. All I have to do is just import my database real quick, because this is not continuous workflow or continuous integration. Import. So, that. So all I'm doing here is I'm just importing the database, because when sites are connected to Git, it's just going to be the code. Usually your media files too, those aren't connected because it's in a Git ignore. If you ever wanted to do a migration with GitHub for larger sites, you could always just comment out the WP content / uploads, and then once you get it to your site, comment that again. So right now I'm just importing the database for this new install, and it's just a database that I keep around that has, you know, just all the base settings that I need. And there we go. So now I have a fresh install with all my favorite plugins, and I'm ready to start developing. So that's that. But back to the WP or manage WP and all that stuff. So this organization screen right here, this is the same thing as manage WP in my eyes. I have all my sites here. I'm able to filter these sites based on, you know, their subscription level. I'm able to see what sites are connected to my custom upstream. So there's that. I'm able to see which sites, what environment they're in. So right now I have 15 of my sites that are actually all up to date. The code's good. But 11 of my sites, they actually need updates. So there's something or another that needs an update here. So you could actually do, can't update it from here, but you could export it to a CSV. It's very helpful. But no, this actually tells me though. So if I wanted to see which ones are connected to the upstream, so these 3 sites right here, they need updates. So I could just go to there, and then Dave, this will pertain to you, your question earlier. So there's actually 6 updates here that I have to pull in, and I'm not going to do it right now because there's going to be conflicts. If you use GitHub, you know about conflicts, or if you use Git, you know about conflicts. But as you can see, here's the Gravity Forums update, the CBT UI, and this map. So I would actually just merge those updates into the core file system here on dev environment, Dave, and then I would just push this code up to test, and then live. And then once it's on live, it's on the live site. So you don't have any questions?
Looking pretty quiet now. Thanks very much, Joe.
That's good. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. If you guys have any questions on Pantheon, I'd be more than happy to help you out if you need anything. I'm in the Genesis Slack all the time, and the guys at Pantheon, they're awesome support. There is actually a couple Pantheon guys in the Slack over Genesis, or the Genesis Slack room, so they're more than happy to help you out. Cool, guys. Appreciate your time.
That's
Thanks.
great. Thank you.